Okay, welcome to course module 7. Now we're past the science fair stuff. We're past, actually finishing a research project. Now we're going to talk about how to actually publish in a top academic journal. So you can go from a high school project to a peer-reviewed author. So first, we need to understand, what exactly is the publishing process, right? So this is part 1 for that. So here's why publishing sort of changes everything for your overall career trajectory and how you just approach research, right? So one, it gives you credibility as a researcher. Now you're like a credible researcher. Once you have one published paper, you're officially initiated into the research sort of scene. So this gets you lots of national recognition. Judges, professors, and admissions officers especially take you seriously because now you've demonstrated an impact in the scientific field, and your name is now in Google Scholar forever. So publishing is a very major accomplishment that you will be doing. But what does publishing mean? So it means submitting your final paper to a journal or a conference. And the reason this is so significant is because in order to be accepted to these journals and conferences, scientists who are already so experienced will actually review your paper. And this is a whole committee of scientists, by the way. There's many scientists reviewing each paper. So it's not just like one scientist says approve and you're approved. It's like a whole committee. And they have to accept your paper. And once it's accepted, then you get published, right? So your work becomes part of the academic record. There's different types of journals, right? There's different types. So there's the open access journals like IEEE Access, PLOS1. There's student journals. Student journals we're going to avoid because they're not high impact, but it's just one of those journals out there. And there's also preprint servers like bioRxiv, Arxiv. These are all basically preprints, and they're easier to get accepted to. Actually, I don't think there's even a selection process. So they're just preprints. It's not like an actual publication in a journal. But here are what journals are looking for. First of all, you don't have to be perfect, right? The goal is the same thing as a science fair, same thing as the whole presentation packaging aspect we were talking about is, are you original, right? Of course, are you novel? You're not copying any other research. This is one of the biggest things they look for. Are these real results, right? Do you have solid methods and solid results? Citations, have you properly put down references, and format, right? Are you formatting this in a very polished manner? Now let's talk about how to submit your paper. Here's a step-by-step submission flow, right? So first, you're going to be choosing a target journal. So different projects will have different target journals. Each target journal is dependent on the niche, right, that you're working on. So we will be helping you in identifying these target journals. Second is the format, right? So each of these target journals will be having a format/template for how you want to structure a publication. And third is you want to submit, right? So you want to submit a PDF with author details and such onto these journals. And fourth is you want to wait for review, right? So you want to wait for acceptance, revision, or rejection. Of course, we're aiming for acceptance, and we're going to structure this in a way where it's highest chance for acceptance. But yeah, what happens next? So after you submit, you'll be waiting for 2 to 6 weeks. It depends for each journal. But there's 3 possible outcomes, right? One, you can either be accepted, they either ask you to revise it or resubmit, or you get rejected. Rejecting is normal, right? You can just try for another journal. There's so many journals out there, so don't take it personally. But you can submit to these preprints as well, like Arxiv and bioRxiv. These are also counting as published, and it's pretty prestigious. But of course, we're going to be aiming for you to get published in the acceptance status. And yeah, after you have a publication, after it's published and accepted, this is how you talk about it, right? You can put it on your LinkedIn, you can put it on your resume. You can say, hey, I got published in IEEE Access. My paper was accepted to ACM. I submitted my work to this journal and it's under review. So let's say you're a senior in high school, right? You just finished, it's August, and now your college applications are due in, let's say, October end and December end, depending on if you're applying early or regular. And if the acceptance does not come out by then, you can still write in your college applications, I submitted my work to this journal and it's under review. That's still a very prestigious honor.